It's Wednesday. Welcome back to another edition of Wild Wednesdays. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. We are working through just making sure all of the lovely viewers can hear and see us crystal clear. I'm Johnson. I'm in studio joined by producer Sarge and Veach, who is joining us via, is it Skype? Is that what the kids use these days, or is it Zoom?
Streamlabs.
Streamlabs. Oh, even better.
Yeah, speaking of Streamlabs, yeah, the reason why we were having technical difficulties was because apparently you can't say fuck in the title.
So no swearing on this podcast.
Yeah, and also even with the stars too, that's naughty as well. So we changed it to Frick, Johnson's idea, and I love it.
We're bringing Frick back in 2025 for the last 12 days that we have left of this month.
Yeah, bringing it back.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Christmas next week,
Wow.
holiday season.
Next week, that can't be true.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty
you're
sure
right.
it is. I was like, I was putting in my PTO requests and making sure I got my time off. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's next week.
I'm behind the 8 ball here.
Guys, it's been a minute since I've been on the show, but how are the boys doing?
I'm doing well, just trying to survive. It's my first winter with a child in daycare around the house, so I'm sitting here. I've got a homemade bone broth, chicken stock, whatever concoction going on, all sorts of lipids and fats and vitamins and whatever else people claim is in that, and I'm just trying to battle everything that I can until we're in our own isolated bubble again for the holidays.
So that must mean there is sickness going around.
Not yet.
Not
I'm
yet.
just battling it.
Preventative maintenance.
Right, exactly.
I love it. Well, I know that I feel like every time I've been on this show before, we always run out of time. So I am going to try and do a good job of
I
having
promise
us
to keep
through.
it short.
So let's jump right into it. So we will jump into stick taps for the week. I'll go last this time. I don't think I've gone last. I think Veach. Last time I was on the show, I think Sarge had kicked us off. So let's throw it over to you for a stick tap. Then we can go to Sarge, and then we can go to me.
Sure. There's a very obvious one, given the recent news in Minnesota, that I'm going to leave on the table for either of you two.
30 days?
You're so fucking nice, dude.
I know. It's the season of giving. That's my gift to you guys right now. I hope you weren't expecting a real present. So stick tap, based on what I was just talking about there, people who post online recipes and just online recipes in general. We just got done with Thanksgiving, obviously probably the biggest holiday in terms of like people searching up recipes and things to do, Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving, all the other gatherings, but the holiday time in general, huge for online recipes. Growing up, my parents had a library. And when I say that, I am not joking. We had a bookshelf in our kitchen full of cookbooks. And now that we don't have to do that anymore, it's just a much better time to be alive. So I'm very thankful. Stick taps, shout out to everybody that posts online recipes, obviously, especially the good ones, but just having them there in general. Love that.
I love it. Veach, I'm not sure if you're a TikTok guy, but that's where I get all of my cooking recipes. It is perfect for cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I love it. Sarge, stick tap.
All right, my stick tap is going to go to one of our own here at 10K, Marissa Voss. Shout out to Voss, stick taps for Voss. She set up one of the coolest things fucking ever. Veach was a little biznitch and couldn't go. He actually let me borrow his blades, so shout out Veach. You'll get them back next year at some point. Hopefully
Sure.
you don't need them during the winter because I'm not driving over there yet. But anyways, Voss for setting up this fucking sick video we did today promoting the World Juniors that'll come out Friday, so be on the lookout for that. I got to live a childhood dream because of Voss.
That's
skating
sick.
around Camp Snoopy. I know it's not Camp Snoopy. I'm not going to call it anything else but Camp Snoopy. But I skated around there. Skated around the Grand Casino. It was sick. Look out for that video. It's going to be the bee's knees.
Can't wait to see that. That's fantastic.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast to see. Sarge was giving me a little bit of a sneak peek, so I'm excited to see that.
How big were the blades?
I actually had to have a buddy drop off his because they were way too big. I do appreciate that you lent me your Nike Air Ones, Air Jordan rollerblades or whatever those things are, cracked. They were awesome. I tried them on. I'm like, I'm in serious trouble. You have massive feet, dude. You have fucking flippers.
I mean, they're big for me as well, but I didn't realize that they were going to be that big on you. I didn't. You're a tall guy. I figured they would be similar
Yeah.
size from one guy to another.
So,
But
Veach, it's not necessarily the length; it's the width. I have very narrow feet, and
sure,
you clearly have wide feet. So that was
I
my
do.
issue. It wasn't a toe issue because I wear 11s. I mean, nothing, pretty normal.
Not gonna brag.
But you have to wear bigger than that.
Yeah, I'm a 13 in everything that's not European, where you have
Yeah.
to color in half sizes and whatnot, which is great, but it's annoying.
Yeah. And
So yeah, there's a bit of a discrepancy there, both length and width.
And you know what they say about big feet? Big hands.
big hands.
All right, my stick tap. I'll go quick here. What is it with old guys being predators these days? All
I'm
right.
waiting for you to elaborate
All right,
before I
Yeah,
chime
please,
in.
please go on.
Nick Saban is a hockey guy.
Oh.
Is a minority owner of the Nashville Predators.
No
I thought that was
shit.
pretty cool. I saw that. I think Bleacher Report had a tweet yesterday. That was pretty cool. There's been a lot of hockey news. I feel like just in the past 3 days.
For sure.
But I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool that Nick Saban's getting involved with hockey. Big name. Hopefully the Nashville Predators maybe will turn around their season, but not for the Wild.
To be honest, I hope they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to.
Central is tough enough.
Well, I think that'll be actually a topic a little bit later on when we kind of get into some of the big news from Friday and talking about maybe other potential moves on the horizon. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
But then my other stick tap, just real quick. Chat, this goes out for all of you. If you're a big TV watcher, I got 3 recommendations for everyone to watch right now. Pluribus on Apple TV would highly recommend.
I heard it was very slow. Is that true?
It is, but it's so here's the thing. I started watching the show. I had no idea what the show was. We finished the show on Apple TV and we just went right into this next show. And I was like, let's not even look at what this is. It is actually an exhilarating experience going into a show completely blind. And now I'm hooked. Abandons on Netflix. It's got the gal that plays Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones, and then Welcome to Deary. If you have a HBO subscription, would highly recommend those 3 shows. So if you're looking for something good to watch over the holidays, check those 3 out.
Yeah, because fuck Christmas movies.
What was that? Is that last one the TV version of It?
Yeah, it's super
Yeah, okay.
good. It just wrapped up. Season finale was this past Sunday.
That's one of those ones where when I scroll through TikTok, I watched the 2.5 minute clip. I've seen the entire show via TikTok. I don't need to tune in. I've seen it all. I've seen a collective 85 minutes. I know everything. I know all the spoilers. I know the connection points between the shows. I've seen the fan theories. It's a great show. I can back up his recommendation without ever having opened it up in the app. But I would say yes.
Watch it
Go
on
watch.
TikTok then.
Sure,
That's
that's true.
another thing. I feel like I've seen so many shows and TVs, movies off of
Yeah.
TikTok now.
Oh,
All right.
for sure. Just I want to circle back on one thing.
Yeah.
Nick Saban, minority owner in Nashville Predators. Nashville also home to Vanderbilt. Nick Saban to Vanderbilt confirmed. Start the rumors now.
Ooh, that's a big connect the dots there. I didn't even think about that. Saban's going to come out of retirement and he is going to coach Vandy going forward.
Yeah.
That would be wild. That would be absolutely wild.
He was thinking, oh, how do I one up the story that's going on in Indiana right now? And the only garbage franchise that people dog on more than Indiana might be Vandy. So, and that's just the worst of the SEC is still better than Indiana was, if we're being honest. But in terms of storylines, that would be the one that could rival it.
100%. Should we jump into Take a Lap?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Veach, take it away.
My take a lap is to all the haters of the phrase "mini" for shortening Minnesota. Quinn Hughes and it seemingly every reporter that for the past week has used "mini" as their representative phrase to talk about the Minnesota Wild, Minnesota as a state in general, all things Minnesota, and it just seems like there's no more fighting it. It is just widely accepted now, and they're just going to have to live with it. And I'm just not going to hear or entertain any more whining about people not liking Mini. It's Mini. Live with it. Get out of here.
I love it. Sarge, jump into your take a lap.
All right, this is a once again reoccurring theme with this segment with me specifically, but my take lap is me. So this is in relation to my stick tap. Like I mentioned, I'm only gonna do this like 100 more times. By the way, I got to skate around Camp Snoopy today. Well, so we got there at like 7:30. So the cleaners are cleaning the floors with those, those floor scrubbers to leave a little residue, leave a little
See where this is
slickness. And let's just say I may or may not have fell, and I may or may not have shattered my 360 camera lens,
Oh, no.
which is real bad.
That's tough.
Real bad, man. Yeah, it was tough. So I ate shit. And I broke my camera trying to get some freaking footage doing the media shit.
That sucks.
Dude, and I've played hockey for over 20 years. Like, I can skate. It was the floor, but no one saw it.
Rollerblading's a different animal.
It is. So rollerblading on slick surface, it was tough. But, yeah, tough look, but no one saw. And I was recording, but I didn't record... I recorded after the fall, not before. So I got the footage of me just laying on the ground, and my lens is like all fucked up. So it's like all blurry and shit. I'm like sick. And I've had that camera for so long, and I'm so.
Did anyone come out and put a body outline down where you fell?
No, Johns, but they should have. That would
have been a good bit.
But dude, it was like one of those ones where you fall down, you get up as fast as fucking possible. Like I was on the floor for a millisecond. I was like, fuck. Like, I can't believe this.
You kind of do the quick glance around like, oh, shit, did anyone see
Well,
that?
so I don't know if you guys have been there in a long time, but it kind of, they wanted it to feel like, I was getting the whole spiel from the Mall of America worker. So this is from her. But like they wanted to feel like it was like a natural, like undulation, like you're walking out in nature. So they have real plants everywhere. So all the plants at Camp Snoopy are real. Real dirt. But they have like, I don't know, so basically I was going downhill and the floor signs were everywhere, by the way. So I should have gone a different route, but it was bad.
Well, glad that you're here. Sorry about your camera. That freaking sucks. But I'm glad that you guys had a good time at the end of the day. That's the important thing.
Yeah, when you started or finished that sentence with broke, I was waiting for you to say my femur or forearm or whatever, and I was like, I feel like Johns would have mentioned that when we hopped on the stream here, but maybe they were keeping it a secret and they had to flip the camera around. But
oh yeah, I forgot to mention for everyone in the chat, Sarge is in a full body cast right now.
Yeah, and I still fucking showed up to work. That's why I'm so fucking hardcore,
I love it. All right, I'll round us out on Take a Lap. And I actually, Sarge, I have a question for you because I was listening to the rundown from yesterday today. My Take a Lap is the NHL playoff format. I think this is kind of a topic for debate, but currently between the Wild, the Avs, and the Stars, one of those teams would be out in the first round, and then another one of those three teams would be out in the second round. So I propose that the NHL should look at going back to a 1-8 seeding scale. Sarge, just curious, why you mentioned on the pod last night that you're like kind of just deal with it and get over it, which I understand because everyone's got to compete with that, right?
Yeah.
But what's your reason for keeping the current playoff format?
Y'all are just scared of Dallas. That's really what it comes down to. You guys piddle your pants every time Dallas steps on the ice, it seems, and they're like, oh god. Oh.
Not
Here's
anymore.
the thing, Sarge. That is wrong, and this is why I think college hockey has the best playoff format of everybody. Is you've got your 16 teams that make it in there. However flawed that may be, everybody knows it ahead of time. It's mathematical. There's no arguing about it. Like it gets everybody into a frame of mind where they can start accepting it early that they're not going to make it, or it's just a massive letdown as you're watching other games. So it makes watching those final games incredibly fun. And then once you get those 16 teams in, they're broken out into no two teams from the same conference can play each other in that opening round unless you get 5 or more teams in, which very rare. But like it is the way to do it because it kind of preserves some of the anticipation of those teams meeting later on, and it makes more interconference play, which you only usually get at the very beginning of the season. And I think it is superb in every way, and everybody should mimic that. Like college football, I think should get rid of the 6 crusty guys that sit in a room and pick who makes the playoffs and go to the NPI format, formerly the pairwise. It would eliminate so much controversy and make those last couple of games like as if the conference championships weren't fun enough to watch. They would be so much more fun because they would have that much more of an impact. And it's infuriating to me as a college hockey enthusiast watching, basketball or these other things where a couple of guys make the say for who's making it into the playoffs and where they're going to be going. I don't get it. It's infuriating to me. I will say there is a room of crusty old guys in hockey that determine the matchups once the seeding is kind of broken out. So there is a little bit of that in there. If you do like that, I'm going to dangle that in front of you. But it is something that I think college hockey does well that even the professional leagues could learn from.
Agreed.
You just like sucking off college hockey, Beach.
I will never stop, dude. I'll never stop.
Well, I think that rounds us out for the Take a Lap and Stick Tap segment. So we've gone, I'm looking at the time, we have gone 16 minutes, almost 17
about the time,
minutes.
John. Just let her fucking rip.
No. I'm getting to my point, though.
Oh.
Without mentioning the biggest trade in Minnesota Wild history. And that is Quinn Hughes is on your Minnesota Wild. So before we talk about the past couple of games, let's talk about the trade.
Yeah.
Crazy Friday night. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but would love to hear your thoughts or your takes on what you thought of the trade. Did we give up too much? Did we give up too little? Do you think we swindled Vancouver? I mean, what's your thoughts going forward on the season now that we have a top 2 defenseman in the NHL?
Yeah. I'm just going to take a stab at it first here and say that immediately, hand up, I thought it was a lot because I saw Quinn Hughes going to Minnesota and I was like, oh my God, what did we give up? And then I was like, oh, Zeke William, that's a big one right off the bat because everybody was looking at him from the last, however long when he was in Denver and winning national championships and just being the man, saying, oh, well, that's tough. And then you give up Rossi, who we just signed and was like coming into his own and was like, oh, is he going to grow into a reliable center? And then you give up Ogren. It's like that trade kind of came over as part of what was the Fiala trade? Whatever trade we acquired that
I think
pick
he
in.
was that first round pick that we got from LA. Yeah, that sounds right.
LA.
And then I was just like, dang, that's a lot. And then I saw there was another first rounder on top of that. I was like, that's 4 first rounders for Quinn Hughes. And then I sat on it overnight and I was like, man, you never get these players in free agency.
No. And
like, it's so tough to sign guys like that to Minnesota. Like, as much as we are a hockey market, we're still a small market. And I am, fully aware of that. I fully understand it. It's a tough sell for people that didn't grow up here. For anybody that did, maybe it's a little bit easier. That's where you get the Parisi, the Suter, and whatever. And those contracts were what they were. But for people that grew up outside of the state, it's a tough sell. And so to have that available and go out and get it, I love the move. I think it's, in a window where we know we have to win now.
Yep.
Kaprizov's contract is great. Boldy's contract is great in terms of like how long we have them for. And so we need to capitalize on making a window and then capitalize when that window is open. So I do think there's some more trades and moves coming up. I'm sure I'm not alone in that thought, but getting Quinn Hughes, who is, like you said, maybe the only person that you could argue as the best defenseman in the league against a Cale Makar.
Yeah.
But he's in that conversation. He's on the podium for the best D-men in the league right now. And so to acquire a player like that, even for a year and a half, with the potential to re-sign him being, smaller than maybe some other guys, I think it's totally worth it.
Love it. Sarge, I'd be curious just to hear your thoughts because you're not a Minnesota Wild fan.
Yeah,
You're
go Hawks,
a Blackhawks
baby.
fan, so I'm curious, like, what your perspective, like, the outside perspective, what do you think?
Dude, I was floored. I So I thought this was like fake news. Like, the boss man mentioned this last night, but like NBA Sentinel, like those fake fucking accounts that get me every time, because they have the blue check mark, and that just automatically in my brain means credibility. But I saw Kevin Weeks tweet it out, and I'm like, oh, this is very legit. I saw his whole face this time, not his forehead, like the top of his dome. So you knew it was big news.
Yeah.
And I thought the trade was so fair. I don't think you're not going to miss Ogren at all. Or, right? Dude, no. Our buddy that played in the AHL said Zeev sucks. So I'm going to take his word for it. Shout out Stern.
That's a crazy take. I can't let that go. That's wild. Like, does he have growing to do? Absolutely. Has he already proven that he can be a great skater and an offensive weapon from the blue line? Yes. And he's played 30 games.
I still don't care what you say.
Continue.
I don't care. I'm going by my buddy's word. Also, I will say this text was rather sarcastic. But, no, dude, and you got, like, the stupid term, you got to spend money to make money. Same thing with trades. If you want those guys, you got to give up some. You got to give something in return. Yeah. And there's about a 5% chance that Zeev is going to be as good as Quinn Hughes, if we're being honest. Sure. Like, Quinn Hughes is a Hall of Famer, guys. He's a straight up Hall of Famer. He's won the Norris Trophy when he was like, 24, 23?
Sure.
He's already has 2 points in 2 games. He still isn't even familiar with the team. Guys in the locker room, he's already producing. He is a stud. I would be ecstatic and rock hard if I were
But I think Zeev has 3 points in 2 games.
Who cares? He's gone.
Sarcastic. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like pumped for you guys. Like this will forever change the Wild franchise, good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were talking about it, and I think Sarge, you brought it up on the rundown that this is the biggest trade since the Herschel Walker trade, Skull Vikes. It's kind of insane to me how much we gave up. I do think we overpaid a little bit, but I'm still not ready to say that we lost this trade or that we've won the trade. We gotta see how this season plays out. That's the first thing. I also want to just give Quinn Hughes a quick plug really quick. Quinn, I'm not sure if you like to drink, but if you want to try one of our delicious Captain's Patches, we will be the first ones to send you our Captain's Patch beer, which is a raspberry lemon shandy ale, and you can get it at Elm Creek Brewing. So if anyone knows Quinn Hughes or how to get a hold of him, let the 10K boys know, and we will personally deliver him some Captain's Patch. So I wanted to call that out.
Yeah, and building off of that, we do have a Quinnesota shirt that you should absolutely go friggin' buy.
Yes, check out the store. Great Christmas gifts. I cannot tell you enough about that.
All right, I'm just going to say this right now. They're probably not going to get there by Christmas. That's not on us.
New Year's Eve.
You can blame our manufacturer, but yeah, New Year, new you, 2026.
Love it.
I will say he gave up his Captain's Patch. Well, technically he didn't give it up. The Canucks gave it up for him. But so he's going to need a replacement. So yeah, get the beer to him.
This is how you earn your C, Quinn. All right. Since we talked about the trade a little bit, one thing that I think there's been a lot of speculation that I've been seeing on social media is now the Wild's attention turning towards a forward or a center. And so I did want to touch base upon that.
It has to be a center.
That's my thought. And so before I jump in with anything, curious thoughts on who maybe the Wild could target. It doesn't sound like we'll be able to, overbid anyone necessarily. Sounds like maybe a second tier center is what we could target. So curious if there's any names out there, Veach, that you're thinking of that would be a perfect fit in a Minnesota Wild uniform.
So everybody's going to talk about the guy in Buffalo. Everybody's going to talk about the couple of guys in Nashville. Everybody's going to talk about these other teams that have no aspirations and a ton of assets. it's going to be tough to get them. What I want to talk about for just a second here is what the Wild should do that Vegas did, that the Blackhawks have done, that everybody else that's won a cup recently has either considered doing or has done successfully. And that's put somebody on LTIR and just get $6 million for free and then sign whoever the hell they want and make the run, because that's the way you win cups now. You cheat. From 2015 on, the Blackhawks ruined everything, and nobody's closed that loophole yet. So if the Wild
Tampa did it too, Veach. Tampa did it too.
After.
You know what? Someone's got to pave the way.
That's what I'm saying. It's a rocky road, and that gate has not been closed yet. Somebody needs to slam the door, and if we don't take advantage of it now, that door is going to get slammed, and we'll be, left out in the cold saying, damn, we should have done that. That was our window. So who gets hurt? I don't know. It's got to be somebody with a relatively large cap hit for that to work. It can't be Kirill, because then, you kind of lose out on your scoring and your ability to make the playoffs, given the toughness of the Central Division to begin with. So you got to figure it out. And I don't know who the money man is that kind of fits that mold, but the Wild, I'm sure, can figure it out. Billy G will be able to figure it out. Boldy is in that line with his new contract, but I would hate to see him sit out as well. And again, I don't want any of these guys hurt. I just want them hurt, if you know what I mean.
I love it.
So I wanted to bring this up. Shout out Ty in the chat, but he said Barzell or Crosby would be elite, and I totally agree.
Okay, Crosby is not putting on another sweater. This has been a rumor for the last 5 years. I get that he's a competitor and wants to win. He's a one sweater guy. You don't see it very often, but him and Ovechkin are going to be those two guys. Their paths are kind of parallel. They're sewn into one another. Neither of them are going to play anywhere else. As much as I would love to see it, it would be incredibly cool. Let's keep those Wild storylines going for Minnesota. He's not going to put on a Minnesota sweater. Barzal, there's a path there. I'll say that.
That'd be a nice fit, because Barzal's still relatively young too. So I don't know how the cap would work with that. If it'd be more of a rental. I don't know his contract situation, but I wouldn't hate that. That'd be a nice. I mean, obviously Crosby would be a pipe dream, but I agree, Veach, that he's going to stay in a Pittsburgh Penguin uniform until the day that he wants to retire. So
100%. And I think the Wild, as it stands right now, only have like $1.5 million to work with. So
it's not a ton.
For anybody that's worth anything, they're going to have trade pieces going back and to free up that cap space, and probably some retainer of salary. So that's where you get into losers in the league that have to hit a salary minimum in order to do anything. So there's a couple of restrictions on that limit you from getting the big names that everybody wants.
100%. I do see some other chat comments in here, Sarge. Is there anything that you want to call out, or is there anything that I've missed? I think we kind of talked about the Crosby Barzal, but I didn't see if there was anything else.
No, Tribal's just spreading rumors in the chat. That's all.
Hey,
shout out Tribal. We love you.
Rumors can lead to a lot of messy situations. Sarge and I know this from college.
Yes.
So just be careful when you're flooding the rumor mill. We won't get into those, but let's just say Duluth, we had a couple of hot rumors that floated out there.
They may or may not have gotten way too big and out of proportion.
Yes, and some people believed them. All right, let's jump into, since we touched base upon kind of the trades and what the Wild needs, let's touch base upon the last couple of games. I'll just do a high-level overview really quick. The Wild are hot right now. They are absolutely humming. We, I believe, since last week, have beaten the Stars 5-2. So Sarge, not scared of the Stars. We beat the Sens 3-2. We won against the Bruins 6-2, and then we beat the Caps last night 5-0. Don't know if anything stood out to either of you about any of those games. I have some notes here, so can go over those. But anything you guys want to call out from the last 4 games?
Yeah, I'm going to go back a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
Since the last episode that we had go out, we missed last week for a number of different scheduling reasons and difficulties. But 7 games, so 5-2 since last episode. We started losing the first 2, despite the fact that we said those 2 were the most surefire wins that we've seen so far. And that kind of sums up the way that the Wild have been playing on the road this year. But they're on a 5-game winning streak. And the bigger point that I wanted to make here is since November 1st, I think it was, so a month and a half we're in now, their homestand, I think they're 11-0-2 at home, and they have a point, obviously, in every one of those games, which is tied for a Wild record and second in the NHL right now in terms of a home winning streak or a home point streak. So to say that they are playing well would be an understatement. The Wild technically have never played better at home. So
Yeah, fuck you, Johns.
I am
Okay.
excited.
I'm an optimist, or I'm a realist. So I frankly haven't been able to watch a ton of the Wild just due to my coaching obligations.
Yep.
Because I am absolutely exhausted and beat at the end of the day. But some of the positivity that I have is our goaltending right now is insane. Whether it's Gus or it's the Great Wall of St. Paul, like these two guys are just interchangeable. It doesn't matter who we throw out there. They're studs. Gus, I think, has had, I'm going to try to do some math in my head. He had a shutout last night, only faced 18 shots against the Sens, had 16 saves. And then Jesper, I think, did he only play one game against the Sens and had 34 saves on 36 shots is what I had written down. So he's playing really good as well. Not sure if there were any other statistics that we wanted to call out from those games.
I got statistics I want to call out for the goalies. The goalies for Minnesota this year have 7 shutouts. They are one shy of a season record to tie a season record for the
Jeez
Wild.
Louise.
That's
So
unbelievable.
we're not even halfway through the season, and we're already on the verge of tying the most shutouts in the season for Minnesota. So I'm not going to jinx anything, even though I already said the S word. They're not playing a game right now. It doesn't count. I'm still going to knock on wood anyway. But yeah, those guys are at an elite level right now. I would say that there is not a better goalie tandem in the NHL right now. I would say from the blue line back, I don't know if there's a better or a more complete team than the Wild have. So if they can continue to play, what I've seen since Quinn got here, or even, I'll push it back, 2 or 3 more games back to the Stars. And if that's what we're going to see the rest of the season, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. There's going to be not many goals scored on them. What do we got in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 games? At most 2 goals allowed. 5 games, 6 games, 7 games. No, sorry, 4 goals the last 2. So 5 games, no more than 2 goals allowed. Is great. If you can keep an NHL team 2 goals and fewer, you're going to win a lot of games, regardless of what you've got on the front end there. So. Some people call it boring hockey if you win, low scoring games, but they've been putting the puck in the net right now on top of keeping guys down. And so that builds a lot of confidence. You see that in teams like Winnipeg last year when they were getting outstanding goaltending and just putting in, 3-4 goals a game. And they built on it. And, they're not having that same success this year. And so they're not getting that same type of momentum. And they've got a couple other things going on as well. But I think the Wild are really, really set up in a good spot right now. The vibes are high, both in the locker room, in the fan base, kind of all around. I'm not going to go as far as some of the people were on the broadcast last night as far as planning a parade route yet. But I say that, they are legitimate contenders now, whereas before it was playoff hopeful. So a bit of a switch in just, a couple of players going out and one big guy coming in.
Yeah, and just touch base, like our scoring is all over the board right now, which is really nice to see that we're not just relying on Kaprizov and Boldy. I mean, even Bogo got on the score sheet against the Stars. Boldy scoring, Hartman scoring, Eck is scoring, Spurgeon scoring. It's everyone. It's a team effort, which is great to see. Yeah. There is a comment here in the chat, and I don't really know contracts too well, but from Big Lake Superior, how much do you think we'll have to pay Wally when his contract expires? Good goalies ain't cheap.
Yeah. So I have his contract pulled up. So he signed through the 27 season, and right now he's making 2.2 schmilly. That is
cheap.
Yeah.
That's free.
So the cap situation, you are looking at the 3 wrong guys right now as far as what we're going to know what's happening in 27 as far as contracts go. But I feel like if he keeps this up for those next 2 seasons, he's going to be in double digits, no question.
So here's what I'm going to say. The cap always goes up. One, there's always going to be a little bit more room. Is it going to go up, $8 million a team? I don't know. I doubt it.
Not a chance.
Yeah. So there's going to need to be some changes made. I would say if both of these goaltenders continue playing at the level that they're at, regardless of how much the Wild want to keep them both around, teams don't do that. You aren't able to do that from a financial standpoint. The only time that you do have tandems like this is when you've got guys on, a rookie or a team friendly deal, or somebody's, coming back from having a couple of rough seasons and took a discount. But yeah, when you've got two high quality goaltenders playing like they are right now, one of them eventually gets moved for one reason or another. I don't want that to happen. That's just kind of the reality of things if they continue down this path. And for what it's worth, I would love that. Like I said, I would love to keep both of them here, but for the betterment of the Wild and for their careers, I hope they both play well and one of them gets traded somewhere where they can go shine for somebody else too. Hopefully in the East.
100%. Do you think, just like throwing a number out there, with Wallstedt still being young, do you think he actually commands like $10 million or more? Or do you think he's still young enough in his career where it's still like, we want to see that you can sustain this, so it might be maybe more of a bridge deal?
That's where you're going to get into the discussion, and it kind of all comes down to who his agent is at the time, and
Sure.
what the market is. So if there is a massive market out there where a ton of people are looking for goalies, that makes it a little bit more tough. If you've got, one of the friskier agents, if you will, they'll have them hold out or say, absolutely not, we're not going under double digits. But the Wild are ultimately going to shoot for, like every team with a brain would, a bridge deal, like you said, probably like a 4-year deal. And you can make it, 8 milli and still have it be relatively attractive, and then just make it really incentive laden. For every shutout, you get this much. For a playoff appearance, you get this much, and kind of load it on that way and say, hey, we believe in you. We just need to see a little bit more. And here's all of this incentive to show you we really mean business if you can produce.
Yeah, I was thinking like the number that jumped out in my head, like I would be very happy if we could sign him to a $7 million contract. I know that might be a little bit on the cheaper side, but I just want to make sure that he can sustain what he's done this year. Like that's my biggest thing. So, totals from the week, just a quick little recap. Again, this is from last Wednesday onward. The Wild got a total of 8 points out of 8 points, which is great. So we got all the points. They are currently 10 points ahead, and I think they might actually be 12 points ahead now of Utah for third in the Central Division. And then I was just curious to see how special teams were doing. Our power play sits at 8th in the NHL at 23%. When Veach and I were on earlier this year, we talked about kind of hitting that 25% mark, so we're right about there. And then our penalty kill, which I know when we were originally on and discussed this, which was bottom half of the league, bottom third even, has started to turn it up, but still sitting in the bottom at 22 in the NHL at 78.5%. So knowing some of those numbers, just curious if you think there's anything that needs to change on either special teams units.
I think having Quinn Hughes on your team is going to change those relatively quickly. So a month from now, I would say that both of those are going to be better. It's going to take a little bit of time to get him ingrained in the types of systems that we run in Minnesota, with the familiarity of which players are going to be where their sticks are they right or left-handed, and things like that are kind of more technically focused, that take a little bit of time to kind of get down. But once he's there, and he's a quick learner, obviously, just given his pedigree, it's going to be a completely different looking unit on both sides of the puck there. And I do think that he will play on penalty kill and on the power play, more so probably power play. But I think that there's going to be no doubt improvement in both of those statistics in a month's time.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm okay with our power play sitting in the top 10 in the NHL. Like, I think that's
Oh, you are? Oh, okay.
pretty nice.
That's insane. That's your take there.
I know I'm a big hockey knowledge guy, but I do think the opportunity still exists on the penalty kill. I think we got to lock in a little bit more. Again, I haven't been watching the Wild as much as I'd like, but sitting at 78.5%, I'd really like the penalty kill to get 88%, 89%, be right around 90%, and I think I'd feel really good, kind of for the rest of the year.
I'll say right now, if they hit 85, I'll be ecstatic. 89 to 90 is like elite defensive unit. You don't really have to worry about it at all. You can let your guys go be free and throw their sticks around, whatever out there. If they can go to 85, if their power play stays the same, I'm fine with it.
I love it. Sarge,
You guys
I feel
are
like
so funny.
90 is a lofty goal.
Oh,
what do you mean? A-?
Yeah. It'd be nice for the Wild if they had a top 10 PK and a top 10 power play. You guys
I'm shooting for the stars.
so funny.
I'm sorry. Any other hot pressing topics from last week or any other statistics that you wanted to call out?
No, I think Sarge, and you already mentioned it a couple of different times, being afraid of the Stars and having already beaten the Stars. I think that is a big confidence boost to, again, both the team and the fan base, should they meet up with them in the playoffs. Not only beating them, but not going to overtime like they did every other game to start the season until the end of November. Doing it in kind of a dominant fashion. It's one of those things that's like, oh, we can do this. We can build off of this. We've done it before, and so I wanted to call out that one specifically. And then another one coming up here against the Oilers. I think that's Saturday's game. If they can show out in that one as well, and kind of dominate the Draisaitl and McDavid and the new elite goaltender in Edmonton, then yeah, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, I'll touch base. So the Wild's upcoming 3 games. So we play the Blue Jackets, who are 13-13-6. Then we kind of get 2 good tests to see what this team is going to do with Quinn. We got the Oilers, who are currently 15-12-6. And then we get to play the dreaded Colorado Avalanche, who are 23-2-7, which is just insane that they only have 2 regulation losses. Like, that blows my mind. Like,
arguably more impressive than Oklahoma City's run in basketball right now. I know that they just got their second loss. What was it, like a couple of days ago here? And Colorado's had one on the record for a little bit longer. But I think just given the nature of hockey and the way that it's played and, the parity, having only 2 losses at this point in the season, 2 regulation losses at this point in the season is wild. So credit to them. I can't wait to beat them. Fingers crossed on Sunday.
Same here. It'll be the best 2 defensemen in the league going head to head, and let's see who comes out on top. I will be looking forward to that matchup. I will be tuning into that one for sure.
I want to know who's going to start in that, and maybe it kind of depends in the next couple of games here how the guys look. But that's going to be one where you are looking to see the line chart beforehand.
Yeah, 100%. Other than that, any other notes on the upcoming 3 games? Otherwise, we can jump into some college hockey talk.
Ooh, can we?
Let's
do it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to keep this one honestly really, really quick, just because we don't have a ton to talk about in terms of upcoming games.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about just the beginning half of the season here and where everything's shaken out. And there's no better place to do that than the Division I poll and kind of comparing that to the NPI. So the way that it breaks down is honestly very, very similar to what we had discussed 2 weeks ago when we went through this as well. So your tiers, if you will, you got 1 through 3, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan State. That is your Big Ten tier. That is your top 3 teams in the nation are all from the Big Ten. They score the most goals. Michigan scores way more than anybody else. Wisconsin is returning to glory, and Michigan State is as good as they were projected to be to start the year. They always finish pretty high in the polls, and then they kind of fizzle out when it comes to playoff time. So we'll see if they can change that narrative this year. Next tier there, is the NCHC, and you've got North Dakota at 4, and this is all USCHO polls. North Dakota at 4, UMD at 5, Denver, and Western Michigan. So, having 4 teams in the top 7, great for the NCHC. That's where they're used to being. Having none of them be in that top 3 leaves them a little bit hungrier. So, really high quality play out of any one of those teams. I think Western Michigan had a bit of a tumultuous run for a couple of games there. They're right back up where they should be. Same thing with Denver. They lost a couple of games that were kind of head scratchers, and then they're right back in it. Both of those teams have 6 losses. Duluth has 6 losses, and North Dakota's only got 4. So I think those are probably in the right order there. UMD cannot win on Saturdays for whatever reason.
Per usual.
Yeah.
The last couple of months here, it seems like they can't get it done on the second game in the series. That's going to have to change. Eventually, you're going to have to get wins on a Saturday, and getting those points in conference games would be incredible to get you that much closer to your first, conference championship ever since the NCHC was around. So that would be great. But getting back to the list, we're getting into the ECAC tier with an asterisk next to it, and that's your Dartmouth, Penn State, and Quinnipiac. Obviously, Penn State does not play in the ECAC, but they play like an ECAC team where they start out with a really high ranking and then drop off the face of the earth when it comes to the break here. They did the same thing last year and then made it to the Frozen Four, so maybe I have egg on my face again. Who knows? Dartmouth drops quite a bit after their first loss of the season. They're 11-1. I think that was going to be expected both in the NPI and in the rankings here. They've only beat one ranked team, and that was Cornell, who is ranked 17th already this year, or this week. So it'll be interesting to see them play some real games, if you want to call it that, or be really tested is probably a more fair way to put it. And not just play, Brown and Yale and the other guys that are in the ECAC and just there for academics and to say that they've got
nerds.
They haven't been a threat really in the postseason in a really long time. Quinnipiac has, and they've only got 4 losses on the season, or regulation losses on the season, but some of those losses are head scratchers. They played Alaska twice and weren't able to beat them either time. I think they lost in regulation once and made it to overtime another game. So I don't know what the deal is. They're kind of an up and down team. I don't know what to make of it yet. But past that, you've got your Hockey East stage. And this is a little bit different from last year because we haven't seen one of those teams yet, and we're outside of the top 10. So starting at 11, UConn, so Connecticut, Boston College, Northeastern, Maine, Minnesota State. I'm just going to throw it in there as well because they're going to be the only ones from the CCHA who are going to have representation here. And then Providence. So 11 through 16, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams from Hockey East in there. And those are going to be, probably 2, maybe 3 of those teams make it in inside the bubble when it comes to the postseason, which is, again, wildly different than last year. And it seems to be the same bubble teams that you see every year, like a Providence or a Maine or UConn, and then you get some of these blue bloods, if you will, like a Boston College or Northeastern for the last couple of years. So they're all going to be fighting it out and kind of grinding in that Hockey East schedule to see who's going to make it. And then after that, we get back to ECAC 2.0, if you will, and it's Cornell, Harvard, BU with an asterisk next to them, and then Union. And that's going to be, fighting for the last spot. There's going to be 2 ECAC teams in the postseason this year. Dartmouth and Quinnipiac look like the front runners. That can obviously change. I think the NPI is going to push one of those teams down as the season kind of goes on, and then it's going to be whoever wins their conference tournament at the end of the season, and then whoever is at the top from their NPI. And Dartmouth has a hell of a head start, but again, I think once the Ivies start getting some more interconference play in there and have a couple of other random or bad losses, it drags that whole conference down a little bit, and that's just how things work. So it's been fun. The biggest surprises here. Sorry, I'll ask you guys. Do you have any big surprises on the board that you may have not expected to start the season?
I do. I have one.
Yeah.
What the heck's going on with the Minnesota Gophers?
Dude, they stink, and I love
They're
it.
bad.
So that's one thing that I wanted to get to with the NPI. Minnesota's record right now is 8-10-1, which is really bad from the expectation standpoint to start the year. But they're basically tied in conference with Penn State right now, or at least they were at the start of the last weekend. And so to say that after week 5 of the season, where Penn State was number 1 in the nation and Minnesota was already falling off of the rankings, that those teams would be tied in conference, Gopher fans would take that every day of the week. And what I will say is, with those top 3 teams in the nation as far as rankings go, and basically NPI, they're all top 5 in NPI, they have more of an ability to climb than anybody in the nation should they start winning some of these games. So if they split, I don't remember who did the math on this. I'll have to, claim it online, shout it out. I'll repost it, whatever. But somebody did the math that if Minnesota splits every conference game for the rest of the season, they will end up at the borderline of where the cutoff has been the last couple of years as far as the weighted win percentage. And so a split every weekend is certainly doable in the Big Ten. And if you can sweep, one of these bigger name schools, whether it be a, rivalry with Wisconsin or Michigan State, I'll have to look at the record and see who they have to play yet. But it does a hell of a lot for your NPI and your numbers there. So yes, has it been a wildly disappointing season so far for them? 100%. Nobody's going to deny that. I think, losing a couple of games to some of these really bad schools is kind of crazy, but they have an easier path forward with wins than anybody in the country. So I don't feel too bad for them, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I also wanted to know, and I saw Sarge, and Veach are all huge Bulldog fans.
Go Dogs.
Yeah.
What happened in Saturday's loss? I didn't really get to see highlights from it. So just curious, like what's the recap? What happened? Why did we lose to Arizona State, who I don't believe is as good as they were the year before?
They're not. They're 35 in the NPI right now. What happened? I would say that they gave up goals early. The scoring chances that they didn't capitalize on. And then they had a couple of scoring chances that normally on any other given night would be like a guy laying down to block it or whatever, that just seemed like a guy was out of position for whatever reason. So ASU's got some good scoring talent on their team. They can go off on any given night, and they did. But I think, after 2 periods, UMD was leading them in shots by, I want to say, at least 10. And maybe that math is wrong, but it's directionally correct at the very least. So it's not that they played poorly. They just weren't able to finish on opportunities that they had.
No Pockalack.
Are we worried about that going forward?
It is becoming a narrative that is tough to escape until you do win on a Saturday. The contrary comment, or the defense, if you will, is they're undefeated on Fridays the entire season so far. So do I want to give that up do I want to give one up for the other? I don't know. I think I honestly would at this point. I would sacrifice a Friday win to break that, narrative of can't win on Saturdays. But it does feel really good going into a Saturday game, already having a win on your belt, saying, oh, well, a split in the NCHC is great. What I will say is making me nervous, if you will, is that Miami, I believe, is the UMD's last game outside of St. Cloud on the schedule. Let me just check quick. UMD hockey schedule. And in the past, that has been, a free couple of points at the very least, if not a sweep on the schedule. That's not going to be the case this year. Miami has been very, very good. And so to say that you're going to get those 2 free wins is not a given.
Okay.
It is not their last games this year. They play Miami and then Colorado College at the very end of the season. So it's going to have a lot of eyes on it, because that's the only time that they play Miami this year. And Colorado College is one of those teams that UMD has traditionally struggled with for whatever reason, but in Colorado more so than at UMD. And the last series is at UMD this year. So, I think that they're going to have to get a good number of wins and probably some sweeps in the last half of the season here. And they still have series against Western Michigan, Denver, and North Dakota in there again. So it's not going to be easy for sure. But I've got my eye on that Miami series to determine whether or not they're going to be, a top 2 seed, or if they're going to have to play in a regional that they don't want to be in.
Other than that, from a college hockey perspective, Veach, can you remind me? I was looking at the calendar. Are the teams on holiday break now, going forward
Right now
for a couple weeks?
Yeah, so with the World Juniors starting up, I think the preliminary games, I want to shout that out as well. All over Minnesota, they've got the preliminary tournament games for the World Junior Championships at different rinks. So Amsoil is hosting some in Duluth. I think there's a couple up in Bemidji. I don't know if it's Mankato has the other ones, and then there's a fourth site as well. Go look those up, go see them. I think it is a great opportunity to see some of the teams. If you want to watch, Team USA, you're going to have to go to Duluth. We host champions up there.
Heard
and
that,
they've got a great facility. And I think games start maybe tomorrow. I know on the 19th they play for sure. So it's very, very soon. And then they play up until I think a week from today as well, before the tournament actually starts. So that's where everybody is. And then on top of that, you've got a bunch of guys, college guys, going overseas to play in the Spangler Cup. So that's why there's really no college hockey games going on right now. There are some teams that will have a couple of holiday games. Most of them are on the East Coast. Some of the ECAC schools play in holiday tournaments and whatnot. And that's just because they live an hour from where the opponent is, and it's not really that big of a travel issue for teams. So that's why you see a lot of the Midwestern schools and teams that play from a remote location not doing much in terms of hockey. Penn State hasn't played since like November 20th or something crazy already, and they don't play again until January 6th. I think they've got like 44 days off between team games.
Jeez.
I don't know how that's going to work for them, but yeah, bit of a break right now, at least for this week, for college hockey in general. UMD starts up again with an exhibition game against Manitoba on January 2nd, and then they're back that following weekend. So they're off technically for the next 2 weeks, but realistically, in terms of games that matter, for 3 weeks.
Okay. Other than that, that's all that I had for my college hockey notes. So I don't know if what else you want to touch on, but dive into it unless Sarge, you had any.
Nope.
Great. No, the only other thing that I wanted to mention here is a team that kind of was at the bottom of the list in terms of national rankings, but is still relatively high, is a Harvard team. So another ECAC team. Dartmouth dropped from 1 to 2 with a loss. I think they'll drop further. They'll probably free fall after a second loss there. But Harvard is a team that's 7-3-1 right now, that came into the season with pretty low expectations. Just given, Cornell's typical dominance, Quinnipiac being great, and then the shocking rise that Dartmouth has had. But the Crimson are a team that I want to kind of keep an eye on, and that's one that is going to be in the bean pot, and you want to see how that kind of turns out between the Boston schools, Northeastern, and then Harvard. If they can compete in that and come away with some shocking wins, they can start to make some actual noise, and not just, oh, look at them at the bottom of the USCHO rankings. And I'm not sure what the stats are on that team in terms of why they're doing so well. All I know is Mason Langenbrenner is a captain on the team, and that's got to count for something.
I assume that's
Jamie's
kid?
son.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just shout out Minnesota. Elk River? Is that
technically
Cloquet?
Started playing in Cloquet? If you look at his card, it says Eden Prairie. He played a season and a half in Eden Prairie. There's a bit of a gray area. Born in Texas, so there's a mishmash when
Makes
you look
sense.
at it. Anybody can claim him from Cloquet all the way down the I-35 corridor to Dallas. But yeah, he seems to be doing all right. He had a bit of a rough start in college. I think he was originally committed to Dartmouth and made the switch over to Harvard. for the education, obviously, but probably to be a little bit closer to Dad, who's still in the Bruins organization as well. But yeah, I wanted to shout out Harvard because that's a team that I'm keeping my eye on, as I'm not sure what's going on there, but they're doing something right.
I love it. Those big brain thinkers are, I guess, showing up this year. The
Yeah.
only I was just looking at the USCHO,
Mhm.
and I was hoping you could explain this to me. I'm looking at Union has a ranking of 20, and they're 3,
Yep.
4, and 1. What are they playing a tough schedule? Is that what's going into the ranking? Because like that record doesn't impress me.
Which site are you looking at? Because I see 12, 5, and 2.
This must be.
Alibaba.com.
I'm looking at Timu. Um, no, this is. It looks like it's conference play is how the schedules are broken down, because like the teams have very different. Like a lot of these teams have only played 8 games in total, so.
Yeah, I think Union's record overall is 12, 5, and 2.
Okay.
And so their conference play, you said they're 3. What's their record?
It says 3, 4, and 1.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So they've probably lost to Dartmouth, Cornell, and Harvard if they've got those, and maybe somebody else. If they've got those losses and are still ranked that high, that is 100% what it is. And then they've got a ton of non-conference wins on top of that, and they're probably against relatively good teams. Like I think they've already played Maine this year. I'd have to look at who their wins are actually against, but let me check their NPI ranking really quick, because the way that those national rankings work is they try and either match or rubber band to where the NPI has them, and they're 29 in NPI, so I'm not sure why the national ranking has them that high, but they were not ranked to the last poll, and so they're moving up for whatever reason, and maybe that has more to do with other teams on that bottom losing some games and
Sure.
and not having a way to kind of keep them in there, but I wouldn't expect them to make any sort of a push, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. I was just curious because I was like, oh, that seems odd, but I also wasn't looking at the right.
I know Gopher fans don't
standings.
want them to make a push.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't have anything else college hockey related. So do we want to jump into our last segment of wild takes?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Veach, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, my wild take is going to remain as the optimistic guy for the Wild on this pod, because it's worked for me so far this year. The Wild are going to surpass Dallas and get a home playoff game to start the NHL playoffs.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that?
Yes.
Will they make it out of the first round of playoffs?
You're going to have to ask me for another wild take at a different time. I think screw it. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we're gonna make it into at least the second round. I'm not gonna go Western Conference Finals until I see a couple more games. But yeah,
I love it. Sarge, wild take from you.
Yeah, right when Veach is all happy, I'm gonna tear him down. My wild take is the Wild are gonna be the Wild and not make it out of the first round. They're gonna piddle their pants in 7 games at home against Dallas, and you guys are going to be weeping. And then Quinn Hughes is going to leave, and then you guys are yucked.
Jeez Louise, way to just be a negative Nancy over there.
I also didn't have anything prepared, and I'm just going off the top of the dome. So,
that Saturday Night Live sketch, Debbie Downer? That's you, Sarge.
No, that's you. I am very happy.
I have been nothing but positive. Yeah, about the Wild.
You want to talk about the Vikings, Veach?
Nah, I can't say anything good about that.
We'll run out of time on that. All right. The last time that I had hosted, I didn't get a chance to bring this one up. So my wild take has nothing to do with sports, but it has to do with fast food.
Ooh.
My wild take is that your potato Olays are the best fast food side out there, and I will die on that hill.
Oh, they're so good.
A 6-pack and a pound?
6-pack and a pound, John's. We used to live right across Taco John's, and Taco John's is so slept on. It's criminal. And their potato Lays are fucking awesome.
I will say this. I used to be a Taco John's guy till I to like the most faithful. Every Sunday I would come, I worked in Duluth and when I was going to school in, Itasca Community College, shout out Vikings up there. That Vikings team I'll represent. We started club hockey in Itasca. I was faithful to Taco John's. And then I got introduced to Taco Bell and I was like, some of this stuff is better. But in that, I have always held the place in my heart for the potato olays because you're absolutely right that
Yes.
nothing will ever compete with the potato olays. And there's just something about the seasoning on it. I was just
Oh
talking to
Yes.
my
wife about
gosh,
this
yes.
the other day. Like, I don't know what seasoning they put on like the French fries at the grill at Spirit Mountain when I was younger, but they quit doing it now and it's older and it's not as good. Taco John's I just had for the first time in like 2 years the other day because I just don't live by one anymore, or I didn't live by one until now, and it's still the exact same. It's got to be a
elite.
controlled substance of some
Yeah.
sort because I had it and it was just like it brought back memories of every time I've ever had it before. And the nacho cheese that they have there is better for whatever reason,
So
and the sour
good.
cream that they have there is better for whatever reason.
Yes.
And the fact that those potato olays are so good and crispy and crunchy and like everything
Every
about them
time.
is elite.
Yeah.
Their meat and potato burritos are better, and like you throw them in the 6-pack and a pound taco and it is just a delight. I will, you make me want to go get it right now, and I haven't had dinner yet, so I might.
I also
I love it.
might get Taco John's on the way home. I think they're just so versatile. If you ever have accidentally ordered Uber Eats and ordered 2 6-pack and a pounds on accident, I cannot confirm or deny that I was under the influence at the time. They go really good in breakfast tacos. So it's kind of
Ooh,
like a
yeah.
hash brown. You throw that in with some scrambled eggs, you will be very happy. Your stomach might not agree with you
Not so
in
much,
about
yeah.
2 hours, but they are fantastic.
I love
God,
that,
that
John's.
sounds good.
Well, I think that wraps it up for another edition of Wild Wednesdays. A real quick plug here. You see this guy, this 97 guy? I can't point because I'm looking at the wrong screen. Go out to our merchandise. Go get your 97 hats. Go get your Quinnesota merchandise. If you're still Vikings faithful, we got 9 hats. We got gritty hats. I got to point it at the camera. I can't just look at the TV.
I don't know why it's so hard, but I know exactly what
It's-
you're going through right
Because
now.
it's also opposite too, so I can't my equilibrium's thrown off.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in Inception right now. Go buy your merchandise. Again, you probably won't get it for Christmas, but they make a great New Year's gift. Valentine's Day is coming up. Freaking get prepared. Start purchasing it now. Oh,
Talking about Valentine's Day, I'm just going to put it out there because nobody else makes merch as fast as we do. Hughes and Kisses is going to be a big Valentine in Minnesota.
Oh, put that.
Oh my
Get
gosh.
that in Discord ASAP.
yeah,
dude.
100%. That'd be a missed opportunity.
Oh man.
That's a great marketing idea, Veach. That's fantastic. Other than that, chat, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Happy holidays to all of you. Sarge, are we doing any shows next week or are we taking the week off?
I don't know.
All right, so maybe
I'll
tune
be
in
here
next
if
week.
people. Wait, is Christmas Eve on a Wednesday?
24th is Christmas Eve.
It's a week from today.
I know, fucking Beach.
We're not calendar guys, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching.
I love
and
you, Beats.
appreciate all of you. Love you.